Can you tell me your most memorable art experience?
My most memorable art experience? Yes. Oh my goodness. I should have read these questions in advance, shouldn't I?
Of any sort, you know, anything artistic, full range.
Well, I remember my art teacher from junior high my art teacher from junior high, she was brilliant at doing sculptures, whether it was paper mache or wood or anything else. And then she used to do snow sculptures. And I was always fascinated how people can make like a human being or an animal out of an inanimate object, and there it was. So I got very interested in sculpting, and I realized very quickly that these people are born with it. I'm not very good at it at all. Way back when, I remember as a kid, young teenager again in Paris, looking at all the art there, and I thought, you know, I thought to myself, being in Paris, they really had a good appreciation for what was art no matter what the age. And I thought, you know, in Canada, we're not really like that. But then again, I realized too, we don't have the history that France does, but a long history. But at the same time, it's nice to see now things have changed. I mean, this was in the 80s. So I see more art now than I've ever seen. But I think, too, it's not just because there are more artists. I just think that people are generally more interested in different art that is available, especially where I come from, Newfoundland and Labrador. There's more Inuit art available, more Newfoundland and Labrador art available. I think we're getting a lot more tourists who are buying more art, and therefore we get more artists selling art, and therefore a lot of local people decide that they want to see the what's all the screaming about, you know, this art stuff. And then they go and they thoroughly enjoy it. So back to your question, my earliest form was visiting other countries and seeing how other countries put their art on display and spent more public money to put their art on display, more so than Canada. And I think that was a lesson for me. And I thought that, you know, going back to Newfoundland and Labrador and Canada, I thought, you know, we should be spending more money to put our art, and by extension our artists, on display.
Okay. And what do you feel is the role of art in Canadian communities?
Oh, it tells the story. You know, you can look at, say, a newspaper, like say a small town. I'll take a town like Grand Falls, Windsor. It's the largest town in my riding. They have a newspaper called The Advertiser. And you can go back through all the articles and get all the anecdotes, all the stories, all the news that has happened over the past 50 to 100 years, because it is just over 100 years old now, the community. And you can see all that, but really it's the art that is really the snapshot. It takes the picture. We have a museum that celebrates Beothuk culture, which preceding the town of Grand Falls, Windsor, we had the Beothuk natives. And that is an incredible snapshot of who we are. These are people that live directly off our rivers and streams in the middle of Newfoundland and Labrador, and the art that was the result of that. I think that where we are, we celebrate community, close-knit communities. It's one of the greatest assets that we have when it comes to tourism, when it comes to people who want to move there, and our art reflects that. There's a lot of nature in our art. There's a lot of communities that you see, and how, you know, houses next to the ocean, houses next to icebergs, houses next to, I mean, when you're in a little island in the North Atlantic, as we say, life is pretty raw. So you get the worst of the weather, you get the elements, you have occupations that live out in dangerous conditions in the ocean or in the forests. So yeah, our art reflects basically how we live as a community and how close-knit our communities are.